Hello, this is Derek from Future Vision and Growth Norman, and I wanted to kind of bring you my one of my battle shows, which I've done, a couple of times, and I'm going to do them more often, which is Norman, Oklahoma versus other cities. I had the opportunity this last weekend to go to Olive Branch, Mississippi. It's an amazing space, and I have family there, and I thought, why not look at the two cities and kind of get an idea of what I think about the way they do things versus the way we do things and kind of looking at it. Now, I understand if you're like looking up the demographics, it is two different cities. I mean, we are about 134,000 people in Norman, Oklahoma. In Olive Branch, they're about 44,000 people. Some of the growth trajectories are very similar. Some of the history and some of the things that we're dealing with as far as construction is concerned is very similar, but there are some distinct differences. So let me talk about kind of the areas that I look at. Um, Number one, population growth. When we are looking at population growth in Olive Branch, Mississippi, they have grown about 100% in the last 33 years. So 1990, they were running about, well, maybe even almost 150%. They were running about 15,000 people at that point, and they're at 40,000 now. Likewise, South Haven, Mississippi, which is just north of there, did they went from 20,000 to 55,000. So they're again running about 125% as far as population growth. Now, to understand where they're located, both Olive Branch and South Haven, Mississippi are in just south of Memphis, Tennessee. So if you're wondering why did I pick this group, that's one reason why. Why? Because they're south of a very large city that is growing rapidly. And Memphis is doing very, very well. Of course, their major industry, the largest industry in Memphis, Tennessee, is, besides tourism and everything they have going on, is FedEx and shipping. Because, of course, they have the Mississippi River coming through there. They have a lot of casinos as well. So there are some distinct similarities to Oklahoma in what they're doing. There are some differences as well. In Olive Branch is a suburb of Memphis and is a southern suburb. It is growing rapidly, and it might be somewhat what our true blues that are looking at the growth of Norman, it might be their nightmare a little bit. Why? Not because of the city, but they're growing with a lot of chains. And so that's a little different is we are seeing a lot of national chains and regional chains come in there and grow. So you'll see large strip malls, you'll see large, and so I think that's kind of that battle that we're feeling here in Norman is how do we balance out our history, our uniqueness, our ability to be a little weird, and yet at the same time embrace who we are and grow at the pace that we're growing right now. One of the things I think Olive Branch does not do as well as Norman does, and Norman does not do as well as it could, is the fact that we embrace our history. In Olive Branch, they have a rich history that comes before the Revolutionary War, and just the way this city was designed. It was a post office site, it was a railroad site. There's all kinds of things happening in Olive Branch itself, but you don't see a lot of that. Now, I will say their flags coming into their city are still better than ours. Why? Because it says West End. I love the term West End. Why? Because you know where you're at. You're in the West End of town. Now, once you get into the West End, shopping centers. So that's the part that I think we could do better. We could maybe have a better branding because our downtown is beautiful. Our main street is getting there. I love the bridge coming in. I love the bridge coming in. Once you hit Norman from the on that Main Street corridor, and I will say this again: Main Street, Robinson, Lindsay, all need work. No, not Lindsay. Let me clarify that. East Lindsay needs work. West Lindsay looks beautiful. I mean, you come into Lindsay Street, you're coming off that split and everything, and coming into West Lindsay, you know you're here. It's amazing. You know you're headed to the university because you see the university like hints all the way down. That is a beautiful street in Norman, and so I love that, and I hope that it continues on all the way out. Just keep on going, keep on trucking, at least to 24 Southeast and get there because I think between 12th and 24th Southeast, and actually from Classen, 24th Southeast really needs that continuation all the way through. So you know you've hit like a trail that you can go all the way through. Also, to know that we have a road diet coming up on Alameda by the end of the summer, that means it's going to be down to one lane going both ways. We are going to move traffic to different spaces, so that's going to change. Our growth projections in Norman are almost as fast as uh, Olive Branch. Now, understand though, when we say we're going to double in that amount of time, we're talking about 200,000 people. We're not talking about 20,000 or 25,000. So we're looking at huge numbers of people that are coming in. So right now we have pain. We have what we call growth pains. Why? Because we're dealing with construction. We're dealing with new buildings coming in. We're dealing with rebranding and strategic planning, and all of that is a lot. It's a lot of like things happening, and the construction is tough. It's tough, and people don't like it. Why? Because we are very ritualistic as human beings. We like to go one way and go that same way all the time. Unfortunately, that is not the way it's going to work for a while. So we have some work being done over by the new soccer fields. That's the Norman Forward project. Once that's done, we'll have extra lanes to turn. We will get an additional stoplight, which people are going to be like, uh-oh. But if we're thinking we're going to have, 10,000 parents here, we're going to need to be able to turn into that site and it be able to flow and work and not just congest everything. So as we're looking at new students coming in, because again, we're going to look at OU growing as it goes into the SEC conference, we will see more of that. We'll see different housing. We're going to see different mixes of retail. We've also had tough times. And look, Olive Branch has had tough times. Norman's had tough times. Retail's tough. Retail is a tough environment to be in. We lost 3 different spaces. We lost Michelangelo's, we lost the Meeting Place, and we lost Artifactory. And look, all of them were local. Some of them, the oldest one was Michelangelo's. Michelangelo's been here a long time. So we lost that one right downtown. We lost the Meeting Place right downtown. We lost Artifactory on the edge of downtown, but right downtown. So those are things that we need to think about and be like, okay, what is causing that? What is the thing we need to do to reignite stuff in that area? And then what can we do to get more things in there? Because we have to keep that mix right. The first 2 blocks, if you go from Porter South, you've got 2 blocks down to the train depot. The mix is really quite good. You've got balances of office buildings and restaurants and places to hang out. The blocks south of there, we're getting there. We are starting to see more restaurants, starting to see the art gallery mix in those 2 blocks is different. So we have little shops, but they're not like shops to shop in. So we're seeing that 2 block area look very different. So I'm excited to see what is happening in the one church that they're renovating. Of course, I know that once they get the Copeland's done, that will be amazing to have the incubator. That will give other spaces for places for people to go. So there's all kinds of exciting things happening at this point, and we are growing. Again, construction is everywhere. I realize that, but you also know that if you're in Norman, Oklahoma during the summertime, construction happens. We get as much done as we possibly can because we have students coming back in August, and they'll come back starting the first week of August, and they'll be here for another 9 months. So we have this time period to kind of take a breath, but then it's also ramps up when it comes to city services, working on streets, getting things done. And I recognize the fact that it takes time to do that, and that can be difficult on our city staff and everybody that's planning and people that live here, and that is difficult. We need to also understand that weather plays a part in that. So it may rain a lot, and it's been raining a lot. So these projects are getting backed up, and so they may have a date, but they're trying to get them done as quickly as possible. And when they're done, more projects are coming online. So it's not stopping. If you're seeing, and I keep saying this, and I'm going to say this again and again and again, if you're seeing electrical coming out to your area, if you're seeing water come out to your area, if you're seeing all these things coming out to your area, the expectation that they're putting those services in is that there's going to be housing. So understand, when you're seeing all these roads being widened out to these areas, they're being widened because there's going to be housing out there. So just be aware that that's going to be a part of it. We look at 77 or Classen south of 77. We have 2 more sections in that shopping area by Wendy's and Aldi. There's 2 more sections going down. After that's done, then they can only go south a little bit further because then you're going to hit Noble. So that will stop. Then they're going to have a new retail corridor they're going to need to build out. Where's it going to be? So I think that's interesting. We have a whole lot of housing going in, whether it is on Imhoff over by Hitachi. We're seeing a lot of housing going in there. We're seeing a lot of housing going in over on the Bellatana on the other side. And then north side, if you haven't been on Tecumseh, you should go into Tecumseh. That Pine Ridge is going to be $300,000, $400,000 houses. North side is growing faster than the east side is growing at this point. So we've got a lot happening on that up in that area. We have infill happening. So there's actual like plots of land that are being filled up. So again, we're figuring out we're filling up all these spaces, but that doesn't stop the growth. Like then we don't just stop and like, well, we're done. Congratulations, high five. No, because with Oklahoma City growing as fast as it is, they're still moving and they're still moving into other spaces. So rents are high. Rents are very, very high. But at the same time, they're high because people want to live here. So then we have that. We also need to look at all of our cultural assets, which we have amazing treasures in Norman. We have Jazz in June is coming up. That's fantastic. We have the Summer Breeze that happens every summer. We have a farmer's market that happens every weekend, twice a week, Tuesdays and on Saturdays. We've got the Norman Twilight Market, which is fantastic. So all these things happen in the summertime. Plus, we have an incredible lake right outside of our city. As if you haven't been to Lake Thunderbird, go to Lake Thunderbird, enjoy it, spend some time out there, picnic, camp, bring people in, let them have a good time. It is a great time to just take your shoes off, ground yourself, enjoy the sights, sounds, and smells and tastes of Norman. Oklahoma City just got like one of the best 100 culinary places in the world to go taste local food. I'm like, guess what? Some of their restaurants came from where? Here. Why? Because Norman's restaurants went into that space. I'm like Hal Smith and everything that they've got going on. I mean, look at what we've got going on. So our culinary like travel in Norman is fantastic. You have quite a breadth of food from all over the world. You can come and taste the world in one small space. I think that's absolutely fantastic. We have travel stuff coming up. We have sports stuff coming up, cultural stuff coming up, and just normal summer stuff. My family and I got a chance to go to Westwood. And you know what? That is a treasure in Norman. If you haven't been to Westwood, it is fantastic. You got water slides, the lazy river, pools, and when it's a hot day, just enjoy it. You can go to Beanstalk Snow and you can go ahead and get coffee and you can get snow cones, and it's just amazing. Don't forget Rusty's Custard. I mean, come on, sit outside, have a concrete. I mean, have a crimson and cream concrete. Then you're in Norman for real. We have adult beverages. We got places to go have an adult beverage all over the city. We have quite a beer trail in Norman, Oklahoma. So check out our breweries that are popping up everywhere. All the things that are happening are exciting about like just what we're building and the community we're building. And then there's a community side. So we have fitness. We have a lot of fitness gyms. We have outdoor recreational trails areas for you. We've got, bicycle areas for you. I said we are a fitness city as well. And we're building that and getting better and better even still. We've got parks all over the city. We have splash pads that are open. So let's say you just want something free to do real quick, go get wet and cool off. We have splash pads at Andrews. We got splash pads at Colonial Estates. I said we have several splash pads. We have neighborhood splash pads. I believe Red Canyon has a splash pad. And so ultimately we have places for you to cool off in areas that you need. Plus, reminder, we've got the lake, we got snow cone stands. It's just fun. And I'm like, it's fun to be here. It's fun to live here. It's fun to stop and meet people and talk. I said, you can have like high level conversations. If you want to talk about metaphysics and philosophy and all that, because we have professors and people all over the place, or you want to just straight up talk football and the fact that, you know what, we got players coming in, they're practicing, they're getting ready for the season. They just announced the times that they're going to be on TV and people got excited. It is a unique experience to live in a college town where the football program is the way it is. And the fact that they're getting ready for that jump to the next conference is going to be absolutely fun and exciting for us. And we get to introduce our city to a whole nother group of people that have come here maybe once, because we did it once every couple of years. Now they're going to be coming here every year, and that will be a lot of fun for us. So when I'm looking at kind of cities, what I'm looking at is high growth cities. I'm looking at cities and what they do. Now, the one thing that Albridge does well that I think we still have not figured out, and that is, what is our like culinary namesake? Is it a steak? Is it a ribeye? Is it? I mean, they're barbecue people. They're out of Memphis, so you got like barbecue everywhere. Oklahoma City has never really been able to do that because it is more of an international city, and we're seeing types of food from all over the world. It doesn't have one specific kind of food, and maybe that's a good thing. In that, that's why it got top 100 places to eat local food. Don't forget also the taco trucks. We have incredible taco trucks in Norman. If you haven't done that, you need to map them out. There should be like a taco truck passport where you can go like get a stamp for each of the taco trucks and then go ahead and taste them, because all the taco trucks don't come from the same region of Mexico. They come from all over the place, or they come from other places in Latin America. And so then that way you could have like a map of that and really look at that. That'd be a fun thing to do. Plus you get to eat great food and meet the families that are behind the taco trucks, which is really, really neat. Don't forget Campus Corner. Campus Corner, when during the school year, there's students everywhere. It is not an easy place to get to necessarily. Summertime's a great chance to go explore Campus Corner. Go check out the shops there. Go check out the restaurants there, the adult places to go there, and then just enjoy your time there. Live music. We have live music on a regular basis. If you haven't looked at Hollywood Corners, the Deli, Blue Bonnet Bar, Red Brick Bar, you've got like all these like spaces that we have. Opolis, I mean, our coffee shops have live music in them, and this is on a regular basis. This is regularly that this happens, and so check them out. Why? Because we are a music city. We've always been a music city. We have a history and a legacy of music, so we are an incredible music city. And again, that's the distinction where Olive Branch does not have that, because if people want to go to music, they just go to Memphis. So it's one of those things that I think Olive Branch could do better, in that they could, establish their identity as independent of Memphis some, where we are Norman. We are not Oklahoma City, and we're not Oklahoma City adjacent. We're not trying to be Oklahoma City, but we are, who we are, and we're uniquely us. And people that come to visit us are like, we're in a different space, and you are. You are unique in Norman than any other place in Oklahoma. We're just different. And so it's a chance for you to come somewhere different, come somewhere where we are very much open, and we love our citizens that come and visit. We love people that move here. We welcome people from all over the country, all over the world. And we just love having people visit and get to show off our town and share what we do and who we are and the essence of who we are. And we want you to come and see us and come and visit us and really just enjoy and experience Norman. So hope you have a chance to do that. And I cannot wait to see you. A lot of things happening. Let me go ahead and check out the events and see what is happening on my list real quick. And let's do that. So you guys are up to date completely. So this is for anybody that is looking for something going on. Oh, fun. Technical difficulties. Gotta love it. So let me try this real quick. When all else fails, do the next best thing, which I'm going to do. Let's do that. Well, there you go. You know what? Sometimes your best plans just don't go the way you think they're going to. So my computers are all acting up. My internet's acting up. Again, welcome to growth. Why? Because guess what they're doing? They're rewiring, Norman. So we're getting all kinds of new electrical grid stuff, all kinds of computer systems, broadband, OEC. Everybody's out there building stuff. when that happens, guess what? Sometimes your internet gets wonky. So it happens, and it happens here too. So hopefully you have a chance to watch this, enjoy this, and like it, and share it with all the people that are getting excited about becoming part of Norman, or just experiencing Norman, or coming to visit Norman, or you just want to know who are we competing against. This is a chance for you to do that. I will do that with more cities as we visit, kind of get more information, and we'll bring it back because I think it's important that we compare ourselves and really look at what we can do well and what we are doing well. So I will say battle between Norman and Olive Branch. The winner is definitely Norman, Oklahoma, and at this time. So I'm excited about that. And let's look at the next city coming up soon. Talk to you soon.